Hello, and welcome back to our Guide to Power Automate series. In this video, we're going to be covering some of the more advanced actions you can include in your flow to customize it to an even greater level. We're going to be covering things such as filtering, conditions, expressions, and more. Filterings. Filtering allows you to reduce the amount of data that you're getting from one of your list row actions. So for example, with our accounts here, we might be retrieving hundreds, if not thousands, of pieces of data. We might not need all of that data. So what we can do is create a filter expression, which is made up of multiple filter queries. A filter query requires the field name, for example, account number, a syntax such as equals, and then a value such as 103. This will now only retrieve accounts with an account number which is equal to 103. You can change the equals syntax to one such as greater than or equal to, as well as less than or equal to, using the various syntax options available. So now we will retrieve each account number which is equal to 103 or less. You can also string multiple filter queries together in one filter expression by using the AND or the OR syntax. So for example, if we include AND, account name equals test account, now we will retrieve all accounts where the account number is 103 or less and the account number equals test account, account name equals test account, which allows us to cut down a lot on the data we're looking for, but also allows us to retrieve only the exact records that we are interested in. Now, we can use this information to help us control what we do with our flow. A condition allows you to enter in an expression, and then depending on if it's true or false, it goes down one of these two branches. So for example, we could use an expression. Now, an expression allows you to normally control or manipulate your data in a variety of ways. We're going to be using the length collection here, which allows us to retrieve how many records have been listed by our list accounts action. But there are a huge variety of expressions available, including logical functions, conversions, mathematic ones, and date time ones. Now, each expression gives you a brief overview of how the expression works. So the UTC now returns the current timestamp or date time, but it also gives you an overview of what you need to include in your expression to get it to work. So for example, add seconds here. You need to include a date, and then the number of seconds you want to add, and then the potential format of the date you want to switch it to. And you can see this is integrated, this is explained here, adds an integer number of seconds to a string timestamp. Now, with our length expression, we will want to select it, and you can see it automatically populates our box up here with length. You can also type that as well. Now, we want to jump back over to our dynamic content and click value. Value is an array which stores all of our items that we've retrieved from the list accounts action. And you can see by selecting that, we've automatically included the wording for that dynamic content as well. And if we hit OK, you'll see it appears in our box. So this now tells us how many accounts our list rows action is getting. Now we can modify our condition and put in a value in there. So for example, now with equal to 1, we will only go down the true line if we find one account. If we find 0 accounts or 2 or more accounts, we will go down this false line. The next important step to do is you can pick up and drag your actions. So for example, we can place our apply to each action that we created in the last video and place it down in the if yes line, which means that now we will only send an email with phone numbers if we find one account with an account number less than or equal to 103 and a name of test account. So this allows us to severely control the impact of our flow rather than simply it being a series of actions. We can logically dictate what happens as we go down. Now, another thing you can add in is a parallel branch. This allows you to run two sides of your flow in conjunction with each other. So for example, we could even copy our side this side, click my clipboard and drop this in here, but then change what value we store in our variable. So for example, instead of main phone number, maybe I want to get the mobile, maybe I want to get a different value instead. Address phone, so the phone number of the address that they're residing at. Now, what we can do is when we run this flow, we will have our flow runs. It collects all of our main phone numbers and sends that in an email, and it collects all of our address phone numbers and sends that in an email. And we could switch the email out here, so we could send different emails to different people. This is only one of the ways you can use parallel branches and other various controls. Another important control you can use is the switch control. Now, what a switch control does is it allows you to determine account name. And then if account name equals test account, we will go down case 1. You can add in a new case here. If the account name equals test account 2, we will go down case 2. You can add in a good number of cases, so you can go down a huge variety of different options depending on what the value of your account name is. There are a huge myriad of ways to customize your flow, based entirely on what you're requiring. An essential way to customize how your flow works.